So, I'd like to introduce our guest for today. He's from United States. He's an amazing entrepreneur, sorry, and he will teach us about leading from the heart. His name is Eric. Eric Balance. He's a conscious leader and he trains leaders to be aware of their actions on the world. We live on the world that is being killed because for centuries we have entrepreneurs, leaders in all the places who are not aware of their impact on the world. And just by the fact that you are alive, you cause an impact. You cause an impact on your family, on your school. You cause an impact on your college, on your workplace. And you are causing an impact here in not open your camera. So please open your camera because either that you're causing an impact. I want to see you. All right, stop on that. We all on this world. And as more aware we get, as more responsible we also get. So I'd like to call Eric. Eric, are you there?
Hello, Emerson. Hello, how are you?
Hello, my fellow. I'm very fine, thanks. So I briefly introduced you. So please make your introduction and you have your time. You can have free time here, okay? When it's missing 5 minutes for us on our schedule, I'll let you know by opening my mic, okay? So flow on your vibe as you do it on a very amazing way. Enjoy this presence of Eric here. It's a very valuable presence, okay? He's not just a guy. He's not like me, just a guy here speaking. He's an amazing leader and he will share amazing insights with us. If you're ready for that, please give a heart for me. Give a heart for me, please, if you're there. Give a heart. Give a heart. Thanks. Eric, the room is yours. The audience is yours. Give us your wisdom, please, and feel comfortable to share whatever you feel.
Thank you, Emerson. Thank you for the warm welcome. The one thing I want to just correct you is I'm from Canada. I'm not from the US.
Sorry.
However, I've spent a lot of time all over. I haven't spent any time in the United States. I have spent a lot of time in Brazil. So thank you for having me, everyone. I'm very grateful to be here, grateful here to serve and support you. Shaw, Meijing, definitely love you lots. It's amazing to connect and what you are all putting on together. Lots of love and let's create. So who is here for the first time? I'm curious if you want to just throw yourself in the chat, if you want to just, share, where you're coming in from, where you've been. If you feel like turning your camera on, feel free. But if not, that's fine. As long as you're listening with presence, very much grateful to have you all here. If you share in the chat, where you're from, I'd love to know where you're at. But again, I just came from Portugal this morning, so it's nice to be here with all of you. I spent a lot of time there with community. I've lived a lot in Brazil, in Mexico, and Ecuador, all over Europe and Australia, the Middle East. So I had some time to visit. First time San Antonio, Texas. Moonset Amo, amazing. Well, welcome, welcome. And for those of you that haven't said anything, no worries. Hopefully, we'll get a little bit more of your energy and intervening, coming in with us in a little bit. But before I go to anything, I know it takes a lot of time and energy to put anything like this on. So Santiago Roja, hello. Good to have you, brother. I know it takes a lot of energy and time to put things like this together, and there's a lot of effort behind the scenes. Elidia. Amazing, amazing. Peru, beautiful. I had an amazing Peruvian Shipibo master spend a lot of time with me in the Andes. So I learned a lot from the great tribe in the Shipibo, the family over there. So thank you for being here. I'm very grateful. So I'd love to just cultivate a little bit of awareness for anyone that's here for this team, that has really put this together. It's encouraging to see, youth coming together to create something greater than themselves. It takes a lot of effort, and we're all here for something greater than ourselves, which is really important. So it really it inspires me to see that there's a group here of tremendous thought leaders, future ancestors that are willing to step into their full congruence of what leads them within themselves. It's far and few between, and to be able to do that, I just want to acknowledge each and every one of you for taking the time to put this together. I really honor you all. So blessings to that. So we are amongst the few and many that are discovering our sovereign selves. We're amongst a change in our environment, a change in our nature, a change in what is responsible in the way that we are here to cultivate. And our time and presence in the now is focused on the revival of bringing our most devoted selves to the forefront. And I know that our predecessors and possibly a lot of things that have come before us have always been conditioned in societal beliefs to come from the mind. The mind is a beautiful thing when it's used as a tool. However, it's not what leads us. What leads us is our beautiful heart, as what has been so devoted and so cultivated in such meaningful devotion. And so really having this curiosity of what's within us, it will revive emotional understanding of our physical presence to step into a sovereign being, into a sovereign entity. But what is it that is sovereign? What is it that is sovereignty? And I'm curious, do anyone or does anyone want to share what sovereignty is, to them? Maybe share it in the chat. And that is something that I think that is important, because sovereignty ultimately is what allows us to devote ourselves to something greater than ourselves. It's an ability to know and lead ourselves with such devoted integrity, even when it's difficult, even when we know that anyone can and might criticize us, but trusting in that level of essence and power and absolute devotion, knowing that people are doing the best they can with the knowledge that they have. So even if we're criticized, to moving forward and standing in that power, because we know that everyone is seeing what they need to see, and that is compassion. So without so many words, I'll share with you the definition so that you can take a screenshot, or you can take a picture. And in this actual, the ability to stand in your power, lead ourselves with integrity, even when we know that anyone can and may criticize us. However, trusting in your essence and having the compassion for those that may not see it. Fascinating. So, why is it that I'm talking about sovereignty? Why does it matter what I say? And who the heck is Eric Balance? Well, it's fascinating. Sorry, I know you were taking a picture there. Go ahead. My apologies. Our spark of sovereignty comes from a very ancient symbol, the flower of life. This is something that really connects us all. It's an interconnected ancient symbol that really breeds our heart coherence, our heart's intelligence. And this flower of life, it comes from genuinely wanting to cultivate impact. And it's been lost. It's been not talked about enough. It's been a wisdom that hasn't been foretold or communicated often enough. Gratefully, our Indigenous teachers and our grateful leaders from all over, the Indigenous elders from all over really have this forefront of communicating effectively the responsibility we all hold as a collective. And yes, you know, there's a lot of joy and abundance, but there's also a lot of fear and war out there. And we have the ability to change that paradigm now. So what does it come? What does the impact mean? To me, impact is influence, momentum, the plot of our lives, facing adversity, creating a new paradigm so we can transform the future. And so this impact, I'm going to, obviously, I can't take you all through all of it today. However, I would love to take you through parts of it. And I know that we're not as interactive right now. It's kind of hard sometimes online. But if you can and you want to be interactive, please feel free to share in the chat. And again, as Emerson had beautifully said, share your questions now so that if they're present in the now and we get to them later, we can then have them all in that are coming through in the moment. So influence, you know, what is it? Why is it important? Well, the first thing that we talk about is cultivating influence within ourselves. And so it's interesting that throughout our journeys, the importance of our state and how we impact our day, we need to amplify that throughout ourselves. And so, you know, you're like, oh, most people in this day and age are like, I want to be an influencer. But really, what true influence is having the power to influence yourself. And today we're here to amplify that. Today we're here to cultivate the nature within yourself so that you can be driven by something that is within you, not outside of you. Because my hallucination is that since you were born, you're probably here because you felt that something within you was way more meaningful than what they were telling you outside of you. You felt like something made more sense and you didn't quite understand why. That even though people were telling you a different way of navigating, you were like, I don't feel right. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't resonate. And really integrating that away from our mind and into our heart's intention and following that feeling is what will ultimately allow you to cultivate impact. Because we're here to give more than we ever expect to receive. We're here more to cultivate that feeling. And so I've spent a lot of time with a great teacher, which some of you may know, Tony Robbins, that taught me a lot about the physiology, the state of our triad. And so the state of our triad is super important. And so I'll go a little bit deeper into that because it's super important to activate what cognitively we may know, emotionally we may feel, and physically we want to really attune to. So I'll share my screen again here. Our physiology, our focus, and our language. These three will cultivate meaning in our lives, right? So these three forces will determine the feelings and the way you put purpose to them. Understanding how to manage this will allow you to define and take control of your life in a way that can propel you with whichever direction that you choose. Because language is only 7% of the words that are coming out of my mouth. So when I spend time in Brazil with the indigenous leaders or the Roniquim or the Yawanawa, or when I spend time with the Shipibo or the Lakota or the Mayans or the Aztecs, you know, or the Métis or the Indian tribes here in Canada, or even the Maori, you know, it never mattered what they were saying because they were saying stuff with their energy. And this is something that we have to pay more attention to because that is what really cultivates more meaning. And so there are three forces within. So there is the pattern of physiology, which ultimately is the biochemistry, the structure, the movement in our bodies, which is this physiology is actually the most important part of our communication. The second one is the pattern of focus. So how do we cultivate our global beliefs, our identity, our values, our rules? And how do we focus our energy? And the third form is the pattern of learning, of language or learning and meaning. So what are the questions, the metaphors, the incantations? And these will cultivate a driving desire that will change the nature of the way that you create results in your life. Now, yes, this is very cognitive approach, right? So the cognitive approach, there's three levels of mastery. There's a cognitive, which is understanding it. The second one is emotional mastery, which is feeling it. And the third one is physical mastery, being it, embodying it, moving with that level of purpose and devotion. And so when you combine this, you really start to take that physiology and you can change the way you embody the thoughts, how they go into emotion, feeling, action, and change the results in everywhere that you move. So, for example, when you breathe and you breathe fast, if you do it now, how do you feel? How does your physiology change? What kind of emotion does that evoke? When you stand straight and your posture is elegant and your shoulders are back, how does that feel? How do you carry yourself when you are able to move with confidence and create moments of absolute certainty versus moments of uncertainty? What is that shift? And I have to say, if you're paying attention to that, you can start to acknowledge the embodiment of your coherence within yourself. Because it comes into an element of wisdom that you have inherently come here with since you were born. So if we don't have the time to pay attention to those micro factors to influence ourselves, we will never have the time to be able to live a life that truly fulfills us. So the second one is this focus, right, that I talked about. So where do we want to focus our attention? Now, we have the ability to focus our intention and our action or attention on things that matter most to us. So if you find yourself in a state of fear, and you are feeling that within yourself, and it changes the way that you are speaking or communicating or even holding yourself, people are going to feel that. So the question is, how do you build a level of faith within yourself to cultivate an awareness so that you can set intentions to devote an action of manifestation? Now, for those of you here, I would like for you to write down I am. On a piece of paper, just write I am. On a piece of paper, Emerson. On a piece of paper, write I am, not in the chat. And write down I am. And then after that word for yourself, you don't have to share it here. You can write I am peace, I am love, I am abundance, I am creativity, whatever feels right to you. Now, Next to the word I, if we focused on intention, next to the letter A, we focused on action. And next to the letter M, we wrote manifesting. We are constantly, with the words I am, intentionally taking action to a manifestation of peace, abundance, creativity, whatever the word that you have chosen. Our words have so much meaning. And the way that we carry that forward in our vibration, like Nikola Tesla said, the secrets of the universe are created from energy, vibration, and frequency. And the way we hold our state will change based off of that. And so that brings us to the final part of our state, our triad, which is language. So how do you speak to yourself when you're alone, when you're upset, when you're angry, when people don't even believe in you or value the worth that you're providing? How can you start to see that whatever anybody's projection onto you is their belief? It has nothing to do with you. How can you shift your language to be in a state where you are constantly in a positive focus so that you can influence any environment based off of that internal certainty? From this place, you start to see that life is really as good as your mindset. Life is a spiritual journey. And the higher that you pay attention to the rhythm of your life and your frequency, your resonance, your vibrations, and following this wisdom of the heart, you'll start to cultivate way more life-giving and performance-enhancing activities to your paradigm. You'll start to cultivate an awareness. You'll start to educate yourself even more. You'll start to be around people that are focused on growth, and you'll see everything as a lesson versus the old paradigm, the treatment paradigm of the past that has focused on signs, on symptoms, on the disability to take away our life and basically focus on fear and death. And this is the change, the shift that we all get to step into. Because it's a choice. It's really a choice. And when we focus on the I, as you can see, it's about illness. When we focus on just me, it's about the signs, the symptoms, the premature death, the disability, the dis-ease. But when we focus on we focus on awareness. We focus on empowering each other. We focus on education and growth. And we want to enhance each other's lives. This is the prevalence of abundance. So for those that are available and free, I'd love for you to maybe take a few moments and maybe we can turn some music on for a minute or two and maybe 3 even. And we can turn some music on to really take a few moments and write down maybe some of your own worries in life. Maybe focusing on, what has been on your mind? What's currently taking up some mental space? What are some concerns for your time here, not just with me, but with what's happening over the next few days, with this youth summit? When can you look back at the past and recall feeling these types of things? Maybe what was going on at that time just before you felt this way or you had this thought. You can even try to remember playing an old story and resume in your current awareness with that old story and see what the change in where it is in your mind, your heart, where are you? And having that feeling so that you can start really observing those changes within your body, the discovery of where it's coming from, the decision of who is observing that experience. So maybe let's take a few minutes, turn on some music, and really create that mood if we can, Emerson, please.
Yes. Art Tech guy, he's saying that only you can share the music because you're
Oh,
sharing the screen. So
amazing.
if we share the music, then we lose your screen.
Cool. I will figure it out right now, brother. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you.
In the meantime, can you guys see the screen?
Yes.
The music? Or can you see the slides?
It's like yes, music not.
Okay, so it won't work. It won't work the way that we had thought. But maybe we can just do this. So does anybody want to share with me what they're feeling? Anybody want to share? Anyone to put their hand up?
Okay, so please, Eric, can you say it again what you want us to share?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So maybe I can, is there anyone on here that is open to sharing or wanting to share what's been on their mind and things like this? What's currently to answer these questions with me? Is there anybody that's a participant that would like to? If you want to put your hand up, I'd love to talk to you and get to know you. Anya, Sariana, Santiago, Raquel, Elida, Munset, anyone? Would anybody like to participate?
Sure, sure, sure.
Shaw, let's do it, brother.
What's that?
Do you want to do this with me?
Sure, let's do it.
Cool.
What has been on my mind?
So
Well,
can you take a screenshot of this so that we don't have to look at this? I can look at your face while we're doing this.
take a screenshot of this. Yeah.
Because I would prefer to have more presence together.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what's currently taking up mental space? What's been on your mind, bro?
Hold on 1 second. I just am having a problem with the. Yeah. Okay. Can you guys hear me? I'm having my screen's freezing, but
Yeah, I can
what's
hear you
currently
well.
been on my mind is that we were saying like some of the worries that were going on, so I just felt like I had one that I could write down. One that definitely repetitively comes is like the feeling of not not being good enough, and we've actually discussed that, Eric, before, but it's definitely one that shows up still.
I love it. So So the feeling of not being good enough. Can we
Correct.
do a shared spotlight of Eric, of myself and Shaw, organizers? It'd be really amazing if we can do the shared spotlight right now. So if you're currently on this place of not feeling good enough, I'm curious to know, where has this come up in the past? And has that been the first time feeling, like the first time that you can remember it showing up?
It's definitely not the first time. I mean, it's been a reoccurring thing throughout my whole life. I've always kind of felt like I had to step up, and in that, not saying that stepping up is a good thing, but it's just in that I constantly feel like I'm not doing as good as I could. Like I'm not being the best version of myself. I could be better. And so not feeling good enough, and then also pushing myself to be the best, but that often got pushed into ego of wanting to be better than other people. I would say like some examples, earliest memory, uh I mean, yeah, if we're really gonna be in depth
Well,
here
that's
with
the only way
everybody.
to be. Hold on,
Yep.
I just want to confirm it. Can somebody put us on, because I would love to see it closer, myself and Shaw. Can somebody put us on spotlight so that I can see the screen closer of myself and Shaw? So as I'm paying attention, and why this is important, because when we're creating an awareness of our physiology, our focus, and our language, I'm not seeing the spotlight, so I just want to make sure that this is a confirmation. Is this working on my end? Maybe it's me. Ah, there we go. Okay. Are we able to do it at the same time or no? Okay, cool. Cool. So tell me, brother, so if you're feeling not the first time,
Right.
where
Yeah,
does it, where's the origin and where's the depth of it? Tell me deeper, bro.
mm,
The only way
which
to
is
be is fully vulnerable.
that's so true. Thank you, man. Yeah, I would say what came to me when you were asking that question originally is definitely the feeling of, well, I grew up with just my mom, so I didn't have my dad in the picture. And I definitely grew up feeling like I wasn't, because I knew he was close by. I knew he was right there, but he never wanted to see me. So I grew up feeling like I wasn't uh, potentially good enough for him. Like I had to prove something towards him. And also to my mom, she has, and it sounds like I'm just talking shit on them both, but my mom's an amazing human. But I definitely have always felt like she has had very high expectations for me, which is fine, but that's also some of her own stuff of her ideal of who I should be. And it's constantly caused me to feel definitely angry at a deeper level. And like at the same time trying to like I'll stray away from it, and I'll try and kind of lash out or act like whatever, and then sometimes I'll just give into it and be, yeah, thank you, and be feel like I'm not good enough. So it's either one extreme is like fuck everything and fuck what she has to say and da da da, even very unconsciously. It's not consciously, it's just very unconscious. And then the other extreme is just feeling like I'm a failure. You know what I mean? So it's those two swinging back and forth sometimes.
So you're not good enough or you're not a failure is kind of like the story you keep telling yourself.
Right.
And it sounds, excuse me, it sounds like you are using an experience of the past, that your expectation is coming from your father's expectations on you, or at least that's the story you're telling yourself. Am I hearing you correctly, or
Yeah, it's mainly for my mom. I mean, my dad's I had to work my way through that one and see like how I could best articulate it, because
Yeah, yeah.
I've never explored it. But yeah, mainly
Thank you
from
for
my
sharing.
mom. Yeah, of course. From my dad, it's definitely more of an ideal, I guess you could say, because I never have actually had expectations from him. I've hardly ever met the man myself, like
Mm.
ever. So it's mainly more like what I feel like I could be to deserve to be his son. You know what I mean? Like what do I have to do? Kind of feeling.
Cool. Cool.
Yep.
So let's go through this. Do you mind if we go through this in like a very open way now, like really deep, and explore what this might mean at a deeper level? Is everybody
Yeah.
okay with this? Can I get a thumbs up? Can I get a
If Sean is okay, we are fine. If you
cool?
want to change, we can pick up another person, Sean.
I'm good. I'm ready.
Okay, thank
Cool.
you.
So, brother, I would like for you and anybody to that they're going through is like do a piece of paper like this: a pain, pleasure, fear, faith. Write this down on a piece of paper and just have it written down. Do you have a piece of paper?
I do not. Let me grab one.
Grab one real quick so that you can have this for later. And if anybody else is on here, while we're doing this with Shaw, it will be a great way for you to also resonate with your own story so that we can really put in both corners pain and then below fear, pleasure, and then faith from left to right. And while we're waiting for Shaw, just think to yourself, okay, what are these like stories? Am I not feeling good enough? Am I being am I told something by the outside world? What did the stories of my parents, that their expectations have on me? And how is this impacting our way of seeing the world? So, brother, when we look at your pain, what would you say from this experience, okay, are some of the pains? And maybe you can start to, as you're sharing them out loud, we can have Emerson or somebody write them down on a piece of paper, so you're just kind of focusing fully with me. Maybe
Okay.
that's better. So then you're not, you're
Yes.
totally fine.
Okay,
Thank you,
so
Emerson.
I listen to him and I take notes here on the map, right?
Yes, so if you can do it across like that, Emerson, brother,
Yes.
and then you're amazing, bro. So you just write it out for us, and so that when we need to get back in the mind, I can ask you. Is that cool?
Yeah, let's go.
Cool. So, brother, tell us what the feeling of pain like, and I just want you to take a breath right now, right? So breathe into your heart, right? And what is this feeling of pain that is showing up from this expectation of your mother and your father? Let's start with your mom.
Yeah, I really feel like the pain with my mom is that she doesn't see me, she doesn't understand me, and doesn't feel me. She just kind of expects me to be, somebody or something that I'm not. And so I kind of just feel like I'm constantly bucking a headwind, fighting a storm, and trying to be clear. Luckily now I've been able to be a lot more clear in who I am. And we have a more reciprocal, actual conversational and adult like
Hold on a
relationship.
second. Wait. Why are you already going to pleasure? Hold on a second. We're focused on pain right now, bro. What's going on here?
I'm escaping.
I love it. Oh, by the way, so just for anybody else that's paying attention, do you see how he's already creating a solution? This is beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it because we've already done a lot of work together, by the way. So you are already slowly navigating to pleasure, to get away from that fear, to learn because you've learned how to navigate. But I want to keep you in pain for a moment, and I don't mean that like I don't mean that like in a
I know you
negative
don't.
way.
I know you
I'm
don't.
just
Yeah.
trying to I'm just trying to listen to the story,
Mm.
right? I'm trying to listen to the story. And for anybody like that is paying attention right now, if we're listening to the story of ourselves, you get to blame everybody on here that's watching now or watching later. I get to be the embodiment of the person that is listening to the story. So you can blame me for everything, okay? So I'm listening to the story of Shaw and how Shaw's story of pain is affecting him now and in the past. Anything else? So she doesn't see you, she doesn't hear you, she doesn't feel you. She has expectations. What are these expectations?
Well, it's not the hugest expectation. It's not like, oh, you have to go get a this or that. Sometimes it is, you have to get a degree or whatever, but it's not like she's the most externally placed in like a title or anything like that for an expectation. It's more, if I do something the way that she wouldn't necessarily do it, she has a very high expectation for how I should be doing it. And so in
So
some
what's your fear of doing it? What's your fear of doing it the way that she expects you to? I'm curious.
mm, yeah, that's a good question. I know the answer. It's hard for me to just pop it out, but I'll just share it. It's a fear of feeling weak to her, like not being the one who's dominant or in charge, right?
So you
So
have a fear of weakness.
exactly.
And so what is strength to you? And what is weakness to you? What does that mean?
That's a good question. Uh, I know that strength in its truth isn't what I'm going to say, but at a level, what has gone on in my brain has been okay. Well, now I'm just looping around, but what has gone on is it's proving myself, and that's not strength, but that's what's
Oh,
going on.
but hold on, we're still in your mind right now, just so you know, right? So your mind is still telling me that strength is coming from an egoic paradigm, right?
Right.
So how are we really supposed to tap in? And by the way, just for everybody else, this has gone on for thousands of years. This is fucking bullshit. So like needing to prove oneself, right? This has been going on for millennia where our predecessors and societal circumstance has been telling us that we have shit to do to prove ourselves to each other as men, as women. It's the biggest level of bullshit. And I just want to emphasize that this is something that I personally went through as well, brother. So this is not just to Shaw, okay? Anybody that's listening back or paying attention, I'm sure Emerson and Luan and many other people that are on here can resonate in a very deep level, right? Especially based off of a circumstance of hey, we need to prove ourselves as men. And I'm not saying that women haven't been there either because they've been limited in a lot, by the way, needing to step up to serve themselves and society. But because I'm speaking to a man's perspective right now, this is why I'm coming from that perspective. So this is something that I just really want to emphasize. And it is by proving ourselves that we think that we need to show up in this world, that we need to be seen, heard, or understood. And the greatness comes from actually allowing ourselves to just be in a space of peace. And you know that, brother, right? Don't you?
Yeah.
Right. So tell me, if I were to go back and you were to totally tap into your heart right now, just all of a sudden, just like boom, I'm myself and I love myself with all my love. Right? How
Yeah.
would that all of a sudden take away and you could totally tap into an element of not pleasure in terms of like negative pleasure in terms of like feeling empowered, feeling in a state of grace, in a state of faith, in a state of possibility. And we can and maybe we can you can share and I can kind of decide, or I can ask you if that's pleasure or faith. But I want you to really close your eyes for a moment before we go there. And like just take a deep breath through your nose, out through your mouth, and breathe. Remember we've done before. Breathe into your nose, hold that breath at the top, and then just feel your heartbeat for a moment. Hold that breath for at the top, and then just feel the beats of your heart. Now, tell me from that place of faith, of congruence, of knowing that there's a wisdom within you, of what it would feel like. How would you show up when you knew that there was absolute a level of divine intelligence constantly in service to you, and you were in service to it?
I would show up to the highest degree, to like every way that I knew possible. I would just be serving, giving my best, and
And what does your best mean?
being myself.
What does being yourself mean?
Being true to my, yeah, that's a good question. Being true to who I am,
Get back in
and
your heart. Hold on a second, because when you said that's a good question, that's like, oh my goodness, my head's on
back
my
in the
head's.
head. Yep. Okay.
There we go. Tell me.
I guess, well, not I guess. Accepting the beauty and the grace that I have inside would be a big first step.
Beautiful. And how does that man show up? What does he do?
And he's effortless.
What does effortless mean?
It's doing what's asked of him, what's needed, but with grace and humility and beauty.
And is it possible that that's already what you're doing?
Yeah.
What would that feel? What would your mom or father feel like when they saw that you were just being yourself in that space of grace, of joy, of abundance, of faith, in service to a community, in service to youth?
They would love it, appreciate it.
And they would probably feel, see, and understand you, no?
Yeah.
So is it possible that the mirror that you're feeling, the mirror that you're thinking that you're feeling, is coming because you're leading from the mind versus the heart?
For sure.
Interesting. So when you're just being yourself and you're in congruence to exactly what your nature is and trusting in yourself by embodying these principles of in service, of grace, of kindness, of support, you are already doing the heart's nature, the heart's coherence, the heart's wisdom of what's possible. And you don't need anybody's expectations or limitations to be seen, heard, or prove yourself because you're already doing it in the now.
Mm.
Do you see that, everyone? That exactly right there is coherence. That moment right there is coherence. So, brother, I would love for you to tell me from that place right now, what are some of the things that you're already doing that is leading from this place of complete congruence?
I'm guiding Mei Jing and our team and everybody to really create this change and impact, and I'm doing it in a space that's true to me. Like, I just get to support and guide and give love and compassion and be like uh, be like a space, like a like a I just hold like a space holder, you know. And so that's how it resonates with me the most on this mission towards helping young people find that certainty and joy and compassion in themselves with what they want to create. So
You need to watch this back. And I am curious to know if anybody else here, how does that resonate with what he just shared? Team, Luan, Emerson, Mei Jing. What does that feel like based off of the resonance that came through Mr. Shaw right now? What does that feel like to the rest of you?
What what we felt from what he spoke, or what that he said that resonate with us?
What felt what he just shared based off of how he shared and what resonance?
Mm. Come on, guys, have. Uh, mm, ah,
Mei Jing, do you want to share?
I'll
Does
talk
anybody
from the
want to
heart.
share?
Okay, so uh, I don't exactly feel that if this is coming from a heart or his mind. I don't exactly know if it comes from heart or from like an idea of wish and desire.
Mm,
It's what I
beautiful.
feel from. It's not sure for me.
Beautiful. So I love it. This is a great feedback loop. So now I think that this is really special because it teaches us now to be able to take and offer advice to support each other. So our hallucination is now when we're giving advice back, it's my hallucination is that I feel, Shaw, that you are giving from here, and now this is where we all get to support him, right? So this is now going to be coming. So Mariana is saying this is the necessity of being seen. This is the approval. So I would invite for Mariana to please be on camera.
She's translating into Portuguese. She's not able to. She's the art translator into Portuguese.
Okay, so I would love for those of us that can speak English to now, when we share back any influence to Shaw, and Shaw, this is really, by the way, putting yourself out there, so I really love you for doing this, brother. This is really strong, okay? Everyone, when we are offering him his support now, the first words that we say are my hallucination is, Shaw, that this, and then you get to say what you feel, okay? Because it's your hallucination, by the way, right? This is your projection, everybody. This doesn't mean that it's true, right? This only means that it's true for you, what you feel, and taking ownership of those feelings is your responsibility when you communicate with Shaw. Does this make sense to everybody else?
You're inviting us to share about what resonated?
Beijing, did this make sense to you? I'm just curious.
No, I didn't get the question. Sorry.
So I'm inviting everybody to share. I just want to make sure that everybody is hearing what I'm saying. So, Shaw, does this make sense to you? Just to be clear.
What I understood was share what people are feeling about what I shared, and then after that, sharing. I just had it and then I lost it. Sharing what my an example of what my hallucination was, so that everyone,
Thank
so
you.
we can all, yes.
Nice.
Okay,
So I have something. May I?
So hold on, because I want to make sure that it's done with focus on the level of language. So as a team, so everybody, one at a time, I would love to hear Meijing, I would love to hear Emerson, and I would really love to hear Luan share. Shaw, my hallucination is, and then you get to share your perspective of what you heard from his presence, from what he shared. Does this make sense now?
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. Let's do it.
You want to go, Jinjin?
Sure. My hallucination, Shah, is that you're a very grounded person that holds a space that is a foundation for us to be able to create ladders to grow as a team. And that's my hallucination. And that's what I felt from what you were talking about, the support.
Do you have anything in response, Mr. Shaw?
Just thank you. I mean, it feels great. Like, even besides the words, just the feeling that went along with those words really feels like my heart. It really feels really good. And so I just want to accept that and have gratitude towards that. So thank you.
Beautiful. Emerson, would you like to share as well now? Can't hear you, my bro.
Oh, sorry. Yes. This conversation that you had resonated a lot with me, with something that happened. There was a time when I was stepping into spiritual and self-knowledge path when people used to ask me, okay, what do you want to do for future, for life? What impact you want to make? And I was like, I want to change the world. And people was, okay, but how? I don't know. I just want to change. Okay, but how? I just want to change. And so I felt something like Shaw has a clear focus on internal.
Hold on a second. Can we go back to the way that I invited you to share, because it's very important. Remember, we talked about language and power. I really want to invite that space so there is no projection, that it's coming from a place of hallucination.
Okay, I was just using that as a metaphor to say that I felt like he has a clear focus on life that is internal. But when you asked him to say how, when, how, what does he does? Uh, I think that he didn't materialize it, that how,
So
and I
again,
didn't.
you see, hold on a second. So Emerson, do you see how I'm inviting you to use the language and you're choosing still not to take that level of action? I'm curious why.
Because I didn't understand your question, so I think it's better
Okay,
to step to another person.
so then you can ask that question instead of creating your own exercise, because I'm facilitating a specific exercise here, and I really invite you to follow that. And if there isn't clarity, then ask me, because this will give the focus of where we're going for a specific purpose for a reason. And so again, so I invite you to say, Shaw, my hallucination is, and then say whatever you feel or think is
What do you mean
necessary.
about hallucination?
So the reason that it's your hallucination is because it's coming from your perspective. Thank you. Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you.
So I misunderstood that word because in Portuguese we have a different meaning for this word. Sorry for that. Okay.
That's okay. That's okay. But
Uh,
again, so I invite you for the future to ask a question versus going on your own direction where you think it needs to go. Because otherwise, you take away from the sound and the presence that's being created in a space. Okay, this is a pattern that I invite you to pay attention to.
sorry, I didn't get it. I think we can move to another person.
No, I would like for you to do it if you're open to.
It's because it's hard for me to understand what you're asking, and I think that we can move on with another person, like Moonshot understood, so he can share. I don't know.
So if you're open, you were about to share something anyways. All I'm suggesting is that you pay attention to the language that you're using.
It's
So
because
instead of
not the language, it's the meaning. I didn't get the meaning of what your of your questions, just this.
amazing. So now Moonset is offering where by the way, Moonset, thank you so much for the hallucination and the truth. So what I would like to invite you now, so Shaw, hallucination means it's your truth, not Shaw's. So now I would invite you to share, Shaw, my hallucination is, and then share your feeling or your thoughts. Emerson, would you like to go? It would be really great, I think, for us as a team to discover how to communicate. Would you like to be part of that? Yes, Emerson. Yes, you.
Yes.
Amazing. Let's
I'm,
do it.
I'm not getting the meaning of what you are requesting.
Okay. Where am I miscommunicating? What can I do better right now?
What do you want me to answer?
I would like for you to share, Shaw, my hallucination is, and then share your feeling based off of Shaw's response that you felt that you were going to share before. Yes, Moonset, can you do an example? It would be amazing to hear. I think this would be a great opportunity.
Sure, can y'all hear me?
Do you mind if you share your screen? Is
Yeah,
it
I'm
okay?
trying to get my video to work. I'm sorry. Let me see. Um, settings. Just 1 second, y'all.
Appreciate you, brother. If it doesn't work, it's okay. We don't need to.
Sorry about that. Am I here now?
Yeah, you're here. Feel free.
Oh, I got my video on. Nice.
Hey, welcome.
Hey,
Thank you
hey.
so much.
So, bro,
Thank you. I wanted to go back and talk about the language, because sometimes when I'm choosing to share and be open, I might not have the correct words, or like in Shaw's example that he very bravely shared, it could be the first time, and sometimes I'm like, oh man, I should have used these words instead. And so now that I've given my truth there and someone's accepting to respond to that, they might not have all the information because one, I didn't verbalize that. And so now I'm hearing their perspective, which we know is a hallucination. I might accept their truth as like, oh, that's what it is, but they don't have all the information because, again, it might have been the first time I'm sharing this, or etc. So hopefully I'm understanding the practice correctly. But Shaw, my hallucination of what you bravely shared was, well, it was heavy. I think there's a lot more to unpack. Quickly, I think you immediately jumped to the how can I make myself feel better? And that takes a lot of emotional courage, resilience, and strength. And I can tell you've done a lot of healing. But one thing I need to do more is investigate and spend more time in that negative space. Why am I feeling fear? So,
Wow. Wisdom, brother. This is beautiful. Interesting. Shaw, did you hear what he said? I'm curious.
yes, no, I heard loud and clear. Spend more time really exploring that emotion instead of running or hiding from it, and really getting to understand it is what I took away.
Wow. Resonance. Do you guys hear this? Resonance between two very open men. This is coherence. This is profound knowledge right now, wisdom. I just really want to acknowledge both of you gentlemen because you're really paying attention to one another's words, thoughts, and feelings. And this is where coherence comes in because we're really listening. We're really paying attention to one another's needs versus our own. And I think that this is something, not I think. I always have to still catch myself, by the way. Not I think. I know that this is something that gives us a lot of power to be able to really, truly be there for one another. And capturing ourselves in our negative space, like you so beautifully put, Moonset, is one of the things that so many of us are not willing to step into. And it takes a lot of courage to have that devoted, that connected, that sovereign space of even recognizing that, like we said, what is sovereignty, right? It's standing in our power, standing in our presence, knowing that somebody may not like us, may criticize us, but having the compassion to still know that they're doing the best with the energy that they have. I honor you brothers, beautifully.
Thank you both.
We have
Yes.
also Elida who wanted to share.
I would love that.
May we?
Yes, please. Please, Alida, bring Alida on. Thank you again,
Yes,
Moonset,
Alida.
brother.
Thank you, Moonset.
Yes. Voy a necesitar traducción. También estaba escuchando atentamente a Shaw y sí me sorprende que podamos abrir, ¿no?, el grupo a la exploración de las emociones, ¿no?, más profundas. Me resonó mucho porque también estaba yo en un tema, ¿no?, que tiene que al final ver con el miedo que también compartía Monset. que era como muy recurrente y me daba cuenta cómo la historia llegaba una y otra vez, ¿no? Y yo quería salir de esos pensamientos como repetitivos, ¿no? En mi caso tiene que ver con, no me están haciendo el pago por mi trabajo y como que me alineo con esa sensación de escasez, ¿no? Y de pronto yo me siento abundante porque estoy trabajando en algo que me
I'm
gusta.
so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm very, very sorry right now. I apologize. I'm not hearing. I understand. I'm trying to figure out where we're at. Interpretation. Okay. My apologies. Thank you. Thank you. So Spanish, listen.
Do you hear it in English now? Please edit that. Please speak. Let's see
Ya,
if
haré un resumen
Eric
porque
leaves.
parece que estoy hablando
Yes,
más.
okay, now I can. Thank you. Okay,
Okay.
can we start that over again? I really apologize, Alita. I'm very, very sorry. Please forgive me.
Sí, haré un resumen, sí. Le estaba diciendo que estaba escuchando a Shaw, muy sorprendida y también conmovida por la forma de su comprensión, de su profundización. Y como decía Monset, que tiene que ver con los miedos que estaba yo también justo al momento que él hablaba, yo resonaba con los propios miedos que tenía, que estoy pasando por una circunstancia económica en la que estoy trabajando y no me están pagando. Entonces de pronto me sentía alineada con una serie de pensamientos obsesivos y repetitivos de escasez. Y yo los veía, ¿no? Los pensamientos llegaban y de pronto ya me tenía que sentir de una forma, ¿no? Pero yo me sentía abundante porque el trabajo que hago me gusta. Pero de pronto por esos pensamientos se hacía una sensación de miedo, ¿no? De miedo al futuro. Entonces, está interesante, muchas gracias, porque me permitió también ver mis propias limitaciones, ¿no? Y aún como que me pillo en ese repetirme obsesivo hacia como el descendente, ¿no? Pero intento, ¿no? Hacer la mente serena y tratar de alinearme otra vez. Gracias.
Thank you, Alida. And I love your courage to be able to really resonate and take the experience of Shaw and apply it to your own nature, to your own wisdom, to your own willingness to take congruent effort in taking responsibility of where you're at. Because you see, some of the most fascinating things that we don't get to do, or most people choose not to do, is to take responsibility for their own maps of the world, for their own levels of consciousness or unconsciousness. So even when there is times where all of a sudden that resonance shows up, they choose not to step into it. And what you beautifully did was step up. You said, hey, I want to share this resonance. I want to share my vulnerability. I want to share my authenticity. And this is tapping into a heart's coherence. This is tapping into a presence of safety and security because you're feeling the truth come from another person's map of the world. So do you see how when one of us, two of us, three of us, four of us, 5 of us, 10 of us, 100 of us, 1,000 of us are tapped in to a way more coherent nature within our soul's desire, our heart's space, we create a resonance as a family. Doesn't matter the language. It's the spirit. It's the connection. It's the feeling. And this is the reverence of what our Creator cultivates within us all, because it comes from such a pure authority of absolute sovereignty, and it comes through us so that as a result, we get to pay attention to the manifestation by taking intentions, creating actions, and manifesting whatever we choose. I am. Peace, abundance, creativity, clarity. So I honor you, Alida. May I invite you to also share if there is anything in addition you would like to share from your hallucination as well. Furthermore, if there's anything else that you would like to add value to Mr. Shaw and his experience.
Mi alucinación, Sean, es que no, hay mucho, yo creo que hay muchas oportunidades de vernos, ¿no? Hay muchas personalidades, muchas como máscaras, ¿no? Unas máscaras se van cayendo cada vez que nos permitimos verlas. Entonces, ir profundizando en esas máscaras, ¿no? Y en esas personalidades y todo lo que estamos actuando en la vida, ¿no? Estamos fluyendo de unas formas diferentes. Entonces, ir permitiéndonos ser tal cual somos en cada personalidad, ¿no? Y tal vez ahora con tus papás, ¿no? Tienes esas como historias, pero también eres tú, ¿no? También somos, también eso somos, ¿no? Y es bonito conocerse en todos esos aspectos, ¿no? Gracias.
Rod, do you want to respond? Any response?
I just want to say you're amazing. Like, thank you so much. I really resonated with that and felt that the mass and the, that we're constantly hiding whatever it is with those masks, and they aren't us, but they are us. I really felt that one and found that interesting. So thank you for that. It's gonna help me reflect. I feel like a lot more, and same with Moonset. So thank you.
So amazing. This is really beautiful. Tapping in. So do you feel now, my brother Shaw, the congruence that's created when even if you're feeling like your mind is showing up, that people will feel the truth and help you tap more into your inherent nature. So it's so important to show up with that level of certainty in your heart, because that's who you are in your nature. And letting go of the story or the masks or anything that that you think you need to do. Just being yourself is the value, and as a result, it creates a lot more certainty in any environment.
I see that. Yeah.
So, what are you manifesting? I am what?
Free.
So, have I gone way over time?
I lost track of time until about a few
Well,
minutes ago.
we have yes, but you did it amazing because we were supposed to have like a Q&A time, and you did it everything on the during this flow. So it's all set. You can finish like in 5 minutes, and it's all right.
Amazing. Thank you, Emerson. I appreciate it. So, thank you, Shaw. Thank you, Alida. I appreciate you both. Give a big round for them. Yay!
Thank you, Lida. Thank you, Eric.
Big love.
Bro, you are amazing. I love you. Thank you.
I love you, brother. Was this helpful for you?
Yes. It was very helpful. And even after the whole going through it, the emotions are still coming up. So it's a continual everything, but it's been very helpful.
Observe them and allow yourself to ask yourself right now, what is your biggest takeaway from this? Because if you're saying that I am free, That's a cognitive, and you're saying that, hey, there's still things showing up. So is that cognitive, emotional, or physical? And so tapping in to that, what was your biggest takeaway of stepping into intention, action, manifesting freedom? What is the takeaway? Write it down for yourself right now. You don't need to tell me, but just take a few seconds and write it down yourself as I just finalize everything here, okay? Cool. Anchor that. Love you, brother. Love you all. Thank you so much for that moment. So I am going to really just finalize a couple things here before we go, because I really want to just make sure that I help you guys capture this before I go. And I know that we went a little bit over time, but I really just want us to recognize, what do we believe about how things should be, and how do we question ourselves in the status quo? So this is something that's fundamental in the way that we emphasize. And so we get to change the thesis by really allowing ourselves to emphasize a change in our stories that's created in our mind and changed through an experience, just like this one. So through that, we change our outcomes through a process of implementation, of time, of feedback, by truly listening, so that we can cultivate a necessary change of our current belief to make a change that will drive a certain emotion, physical presence, and an absolute level of cognitive function that will be used as our intelligence to get us to our dream outcome. And so ask yourself, how are you showing up? Have you assessed yourself enough to discover and discern that you are not a manager of your circumstances, but a creator of them? A creator of your circumstances. This is a fundamental responsibility for any sovereign, responsible leader in this planet. And we have a duty to step up to that capacity and put ourselves out there in authentic and vulnerable fashion and ask more curious questions. So I know we got to go, but I would love for you guys to remind yourselves, what are the stories that we will constantly tell ourselves through discovering that our state can always be changed by our language, our focus, our physiology. And that is where, I'll leave this for another time, but how we can get into the sovereign mindset of manifestation. And with that, I will love you. We'll leave you, but we'll also allow a few more questions just before I go.
Yes, please stay with us. So amazing time, Eric. Thanks for everyone who shared into this moment. I feel that it was very powerful for each and every one of us. So by this time, if you have any question, you can type here, or if you feel comfortable and you want to make into audio, you can type brief questions. And if to engage people, I'd like to make one. May I, Eric?
Please, yeah, of course.
Yes. So I'd like to talk about the first thing that you put it into impact, that acronym impact, that it was influence. Could you share with us how can we use all this wisdom to influence people, and how can we have another wide view about leadership from the heart? What is leading from the heart, and how can we create influence without controlling things? That's a hard thing that causes lots of misunderstoods. How can we use this wisdom to influence and lead change in the collective?
So simply, the example we just gave, but getting curious with one another is really the most important thing. So as you saw in the expression here with our exercise, each person that showed up was leading with a decision to be themselves, to share with authenticity, to share with vulnerability, to share with congruence. And by allowing oneself to lead in a space of uncomfort or discomfort, it creates a space where people are inspired or empowered, because when we're really listening to one another and we're truly paying attention to the space that we're in, we know that each person has an infinite level of awareness coming through them. And as a result, that person is our teacher in that moment. Doesn't matter how many people there are, if there's 1, 2, 10, 1,000, 1,000,000. But it's the listening that really, knowledge speaks, but wisdom listens, you know? And this is very responsible opportunity where we get the ability to respond if we choose. But that requires a devotion of stepping into an identity that is much greater than ourselves and not making it about us. Because that where if we lead ourselves and we influence that level of nature, nurture, and support and service, and like we said, or like Shah said so beautifully, we're free.
Amazing. And when we are free, we can also set others free, right?
Well, it's an example. We're not here to do anything or make anybody be anybody. We are here to be ourselves. And if we are free and the example of the way that we are being empowers and inspires others to be free, then it gives them the opportunity to step up into that level of nature, but we can't force it.
Nice. And does this journey has an ending point? Does we have somewhere to get, or is it a constant working process?
Our inherent nature and our creator and our universe is infinite in its nature. So from my hallucination, we are constantly in never-ending improvement.
Mm. Nice. I now got the meaning of hallucination that you said that in Portuguese we usually this that you wanted as opinion, but now I felt what you mean by hallucination or feeling and so on. Amazing things. We have questions from the chat. Let me see. Oh, thanks. So guys, just before we finish, I have an amazing announcement to make by the end, but I'll make like a count. So if anyone feel to have to make to greet this opportunity to make some question to Eric, you can make it. I love it, Monset. You wanted to make it by chat or you want to speak it?
Could I speak?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. I was a very closed person about how I was feeling to myself and to others for a long time. And about 3 years ago, I started to implement this with the people around me. And I wanted to get Eric's opinion on it, of how I can improve it, or if there's a technique that already exists. So when I would share, my good friend Thomas, he would immediately go into a story of how that relates to him. And it would sometimes make me feel like, well, I didn't bring this up for you to share. I brought this up so you could either validate me or just listen to me, because sometimes I don't want advice. I just want to be heard, or know that I'm not alone by you giving me your shared experience. So Eric, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think it's a great perspective, brother. And I guess my curiosity is when you're sharing, is it to be heard, to be seen, to be understood, or validated? And stopping another exchange of energy to come through might be something that you or your ego is limiting, because again, we want to kind of make it about ourselves, but what's coming through is that exchange of energy, right? And that exchange of energy it's also empowering that individual that you're sharing with to embrace or encourage you and your level of frequency, because they want to be endearing or encouraging to the space. So again, go back to my question, is it possible that that validation or that lack is coming from your ego?
That's what I narrowed it down to, being the ego.
Right. So if it is, then ask yourself, okay, well, where am I not validating this other individual in that moment? And because harmony, right, the balance, no pun intended, it's really about that giving and exchange. So when you can give more than you ever expect to receive, right, this is the essence of our divine economy. And the divine economy comes down to really the wealth within ourselves. So if I'm willing to hear you out, and then I want to share how that makes me feel, but you're truly listening, then we're actually exchanging energy that is divine in its nature. So that means that the reverence I see in you is the reverence that I see in myself. And the golden rule of our life is do unto others as you would like to have done to yourself.
Thank you, Eric.
I love you, brother.
Amazing. Anyone else? 5.
Luan, you shared something
Luan.
in the chat. Do you want to share it out loud, brother? I'd love to just kind of hear you, because I don't really, it would be amazing if it's okay. I can't hear you, brother. You're muted or
Sorry, can you hear me now?
there we go, brother.
I'm sure, yes, all the things I took from this meetup, I like that is we have to be more in the becoming state. What is becoming, as you say, we are processes. We are doing stuff that are changing us, and we are being like this never changing process constantly, and that is never stops. You know, like we have a day because the plan is always spinning. This movement, it doesn't breaks. It's always happening. It's always moving. So we got days because it is moving. So if we are like in the becoming state, we are like the planet. We are fighting. We are making stuff. We are putting all the stuff in the planet, and we are being in the being, like it's the classical form of how we see us. Like I am this, I am that, I am a Colombian, I am this person, I am more like a fixed thing. Like I don't have to move right here. That is the traditional way. Sometimes I'm seeing, and in this process of I am changing to the becoming phase. It's more easier to be more happier and be more free about all these stories that we are telling us and all this stuff, because if we are changing and this is the nature of things, it's more easier to do, okay, I don't want to be this, let's be this. Okay, I don't want to change this, let's convert this. And nothing is really fixed. So it's more easier to just flow with the world and all these changes.
I would love to also invite, if it's possible for you, to enjoy the being part as well. Because the being part and not the needing to become is also what's going to give you even more peace. And that's already who you are, my brother. You're so beautiful in your nature. You're also so friendly in your kindness. And that beingness, without needing to seek it anymore, but realizing and embodying it, it's already so beautiful in your nature, my brother. So enjoy that part as well, because it's not fixed. Being does not mean that you're fixed. It means that you are fully present. And that's what I invite, if possible for you, To love, my brother.
Thank you, Luan. Thank you, Eric. Guys, due to time, we have no more time for more questions. But Eric, if anyone has anything, we can take this question to you, and then we share it to the person. Okay, if something has some reflection, some insight, I'd like to first thank so much for you for sharing this. And just for closure, we are all here stepping into this path of self-knowledge in becoming a leader. And just for inspiration and for closing all this that you shared, one last question.
Yes,
What
please.
led you into this path? What made you step into this path? What inspired you? What happened in your life that made you think, yes, I want to know who I am and I want to take action to be myself? What it was your initial inspiration, just to inspire us?
Yeah, so listen, for everybody that's here, and everybody that's listening or watching this back, my devotion to life has always been being curious about why I'm here. What's my reason for living? And when I was a young boy, I went through a lot of hardships. You know, I looked at society and I looked at my experience of life, and I was discouraged. I was discouraged because I saw a lot of pain and saw a lot of suffering. And I observed a lot of fear and I observed a lot of um, scarcity and violence. And I came home and my parents would be amazing and abundant and loving and full of life. And I asked myself, why? Like, why is this happening? Why is it that society tells us that we need to be in a different standard? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel right. And whatever I would do, and however I would follow their path, it was always about something outside of me. It was about something that was created outside of me. But I came to my parents and my parents showed all this love and all this gift and all this joy. And that's what made me feel really unstoppable. And I discovered and I said, and I did it all. I went to university, I did the degrees, I went to, got, married. I did everything that society had said was the right thing. I tried it all. And I discovered and I said, I cannot allow myself to meet the end of my life and know that I didn't give it everything that I got, every ounce of power, of passion, of devotion, and of commitment that is within me. I will not, I refuse. And thankfully, I discovered Tony Robbins, who really held a space for me to fully express myself in my fullest energy at these spaces. And I got to share how I get to embody loving and courageous wisdom to empower others and myself on stage in front of his whole audience during a time that he was not feeling the best. And when I went deeper and I discovered myself even more, I went and spent time with leaders all over the world, because even then, I needed to know the spirit within myself. What is it and why are we here as a collective? Because if it's just about me, then that's kind of boring. If it's about us, if it's about we, then it becomes a family. It becomes a community. It becomes a real responsibility. And we all have this power, this sovereignty, this awareness. And my curiosity was what led me down the deepest, most powerful path. And when I committed myself, when I put myself in all these different communities and experiences and put myself out there and shared what I'm sharing, and recognize, hold on, it's not about what's outside of us, it's about what's within us that matters. So many people pushed me away. So many people said, Eric, you're crazy. Eric, what do you believe? How can you think like this? You've got to be more business oriented. You've got to be more this. You've got to be more that. But you see, the true value comes from this. The true value of our wealth is from this reverent nature of what's within us and this space of presence of what's between us. And that's what is invaluable. That is infinite in its nature. That human capacity to recognize what we are here for together as a family. You want to talk about abundance? Put 1,000 of us together. Put 100,000 of us together. Put 1,000,000, 1,000,000,000. Put 8 billion people on this planet together. What is possible? What do we move forward like? How do we create? How do we manifest? You want to talk about freedom? Put us together, recognize the magic of what we're here to cultivate, and we build heaven on earth because we believe in something greater than ourselves. But more importantly, we manifest it as a family. We don't do it alone ever. Pride will always compete, but purpose and devotion, we collaborate. We stick together always.
I have no words after that. It's breathtaking. It's breathtaking.
Thank you, Eric.
I
Thank
believe
you all.
that we all share of this, like this discomfort that something is wrong. So the most inspiring thing to hear you is to know that it was a decision. You decided not to be comforted with the wrong things you saw. And I think that from all of you said, one of the most things that I take from my heart, that I always see from teachers, is that what we do must be a decision. There's no one anywhere in the universe obligating us to be here together talking, right? There's no one. We are here because this is a decision. And we are deciding, it's a decision to change what we feel that needs to change. So it was breathtaking. Really, I really saw your soul. Really, really, doing everything, I could feel your soul, Eric. So I don't know you guys, but I was holding myself to cry from crying. Really breathtaking. I have no words to thank for that.
And I want to thank all of you for being here and doing this, because this is, like I said at the beginning, this is a challenge. And there's so much more of us now. You know,
Yes.
there's so much more of us, which is so exciting. So the stronger we are. You know, we're turning from one turns to three, from three turns to 5, from 5 turns to 10, and from 10 it goes to 20. And so we're moving
Yes.
forward, and we're
And this
creating this as a team. And so this is the benevolence of our great teacher coming through us. And you know, I'm grateful to have been able to hold a path, and to be able to manifest into magnifying in the way that I knew how, and now we get to magnify and amplify as a family. And that's what we do. You know, we do it together.
Amazing. And this is something that we spoke since from the beginning when we talked about making even the festival and even here this meeting. Guys, we won't matter with numbers. You also spoke that when I came with this idea of this event. We don't matter about numbers, metrics. What happens will happen, and it grows. We, of course, we put hard work. As you said, you put hard work. You are an entrepreneur. You care with no. But this is not the main point. The main point is the organic growing intention thing. And no matter if we are here and how many people we are here, 12, 14, 15, I don't know, we'll keep moving on because it's our nature. It's our nature. We won't stop. As you said, I share from this feeling. I refuse myself to be stopped while there's people starving, where there's still violence. We won't stop. It's our nature. So Eric, really, really thanks for sharing this. And now I wanted to tell you something that is more, that is such exciting as this, is that you will have the opportunity to see Eric in person in July. Luan, can you share the,
No.
can you
No.
please share? Oh, you're not going with us?
No, Eric is always in spirit, but not in person at the festival this year.
Come
Yeah.
on.
I can't. I apologize. I can't be there in person. However, it will be a future experience for sure.
For
There
sure. We'll keep
will
in
be
touch.
lots of others. Yes.
Yes. Guys, we're not creating this for just to hang out. We're creating this to engage global youth into action, into a decision, as Eric said, into a decision, into taking action. And so us as a collective, we have, with awareness, taking the decision to make an in-person meeting that would take place in Oregon, United States, in July from 15 to 21. So if you thought and felt that this it was very heartbreaking, imagine us sat together around the fire talking about entrepreneurship, leadership, healing, music, dancing, gathering together, cheering together, meeting ourselves in person. We all have this opportunity, and you are more than invited to go there with us. We are waiting for your subscription. And this it was just to give a slice piece of what you are going to be able to taste in United States in Ulala. Is the pronounce is correct? Ulala. I guess
Malala.
that is it. Ulala. Yes, Ulala
Malala.
in Oregon.
Malala.
And our purpose is to engage at least the whole youth in Americas, just for a start. So, you have the duty to share with your friends if you feel so. And tomorrow we have our third day. So now we'll play a video of this festival, okay? Just for you to have a slice piece. Many, many thanks, Eric. I'm sure you'll be there with us in heart. We have many editions of this because we won't stop, as I said. And with this high energy, let's watch this video, this presentation video of the festival.
Youth Leadership Festival from July
music, the
15th to
music.
20th, located outside of Portland, Oregon, will bring young people from all backgrounds together to experience guided daily outdoor yoga overlooking the Malala River, hiking and exploration in over 200 acres of evergreen forest, live music with up to 5 different genres and a variety of artists, guided community workshops and meditation, and industry-leading speakers such as Anthony Trucks, Jeff Booth, and Marisha Lakiani. If you don't want to miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, click the link in the bio now to order your tickets.
Do we have a subscription link here to share on chat now, guys? Sorry, I don't have the link, but we'll share it on the group, okay? Jinjin, thanks for this opportunity, Jinjin and Shaw. I'm sure that nothing happens for a chance. We all have a purpose, so thanks, many thanks to Mariana and Yulia that provided us the translation. Jinjin has just posted the link here. Let's meet us together, okay? There will be lots of Brazilian music pumping there. Thanks, Luan, for your tech support. Many thanks again, Eric, for everything you said. I hope you all can feel inspired to invite at least one person to come for tomorrow. Let's hope so. It will be an amazing day. And as you see, we are building a knowledge. Yesterday, we learned about inner resilience. Today, we learned about heart coherence and taking action. And tomorrow, we learn how can we make this grow bigger and bigger. So I hope you can come tomorrow, invite friends, and of course, be with us in person in Oregon in July. See you tomorrow. Love you all. Thanks for everyone. And
Thank you, Emerson. Thank you, Yuria. Thank you for the translation.
Thank you guys. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Eric.
Mari.
And love you guys. Thank you.
Love you guys. Thank you,
many
Eric.
things. I can tell you where the journey led, but I don't know where to start. See you guys tomorrow. Hugs and kisses.